Gently close your eyes. Do deep breathing. We will chant Om once together. Synchronize the chanting of Om with your exhalation. Breathe in. Sahana vavatu, sahano bhunattu, sahaviryam karavavahai, tejasvinavaditamastu ma vitvishavahai. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Gently open your eyes. Hari Om, and a very good day to all of you. So last week we had ended the Inner Strength series, and before we get on with our regular Bhagavad Gita sessions, we are going to have the question and answer session today. I've been receiving a lot of questions. Many of them I've been answering during the discourse itself, but still there are many remaining, so we'll take them up today. After last week's session, when I said we are completing the Inner Strength series, there is a sadhak who has sent me a question. She says when she heard that statement that so we are completing the Inner Strength series, some kind of sadness engulfed her. She said, I felt very sad that the series is coming to an end. So even though logically she was able to understand that that is only the functionality, we are going to continue with our weekly sessions, in spite of that, she has mentioned that the moment that word, this is going to come to an end, when she heard that phrase, she felt very, very sad. So she has asked me, why is that? Now, even though this emotion, this sentiment seems very logical, because we are going to continue with our weekly sessions, still there is a deeper significance to this feeling, which she is mentioning. See, why I'm mentioning this question is because I'm sure many others also may have experienced these kinds of emotions where you know clearly that it's you're being silly, in the sense there is nothing to feel sorrowful for or nothing to feel angry about, yet that emotion comes. So why is that? Now, whenever we react to some incident or some phrase or some word in a strong way, if that particular word or phrase invokes or triggers a particular kind of emotion within us, what you need to understand is that you're actually not reacting to that present situation. You're actually reacting to some past experience which you've had, and you're associating that experience with this word. For example, when you mentioned that the moment I heard the phrase, "this is going to come to an end," that gave me a lot of sorrow. Now you will have to penetrate within yourself and see. There could have been certain experiences where you were very close to someone and you're very, or you had put all the emotions on that person, and then that person passed away. Or you may have gone through some very, very enjoyable experience when you were very young, and you never wanted it to end. But everything which has a beginning has to end. So when that experience finished, you may have gotten into a state of sorrow. Like this, if you see, so many experiences you would have gone through. Now, even though you don't remember those experiences per se at the conscious level, the emotion of sorrow which that experience generated is still stored in the deeper layers of your mind. That is why you react so strongly to a seemingly innocuous statement or an innocuous phrase. So using this experience, my request to you is that go very deep within through the sadhana. When you're doing the Yoga Sankirtan sadhana, just focus on that emotion and start doing the deep breathing. Now the moment you do that, that will bring out all those experiences associated with that sorrow. And when you release all those experiences from your system, the impressions of those experiences, then you will find that your reaction to those kinds of incidents will start becoming positive. So even though this question looks very simple, I'm giving the deeper message while answering this. It's not only for this particular person who has asked this question, but this is for everyone. You need to do self-introspection as a part of your sadhana. Whenever you react strongly to any situation, you should examine. Many a times you may have observed that a person cracks a casual joke, immediately you get affected. Now, you're not getting affected because of that joke or that person, but there is already a lot of built up impressions related to that issue. Like there was one lady who, who was asked a simple question by her friend. That is, they met each other after many years. And the friend asked this lady, "So how are you? How is your health?" It was just a casual question, but this lady reacted so negatively to that question. And then she came to me and said, "I don't know why. The moment she asked, 'How is your health?' I reacted so negatively." Then when she meditated, I asked her to do some Yoga Sankirtan sadhana and penetrate and see what is that impression which is causing that reaction within you. She found that her in-laws, her mother-in-law and mother-in-law's sister, she was also creating a lot of issues for her. They were, they were constantly putting her down because of her health issues. She had some back problem and all that. So they used to pass rude comments, So all those had become impressions in her deeper mind. So when her friend asked her casually, "How is your health?" she immediately became so affected. So as sadhaks, if you want to purify yourself, this is one of the tips. That is, whenever you react strongly to a situation unreasonably, especially if it is an unreasonable reaction, then that is a time where you need to introspect and do the sadhana and go within yourself, and you will find that there would always be some incident, something which you have stored within you, and this particular thing which is happening in your life is only triggering those reactions from within which were accumulated for many years or many months. It could be one incident, or it could be a cluster of incidents, whatever. But you need to pick up that thread and release. In the advanced courses, in the empowerment courses, that is what I'm helping you to do. The advanced sadhana is picking up the thread of the karmas, of the impressions, and releasing them once and for all. And as you advance more and more spiritually, a time would come where you would be able to penetrate into the deepest layers of your mind and release every bit of negative impressions which you may have stored. That is a very advanced level. Initially, you require guidance. It's always better to do it with guidance, to be on the safer side. Once you reach a very high level, you yourself will know. So this is a sadhana tip which I wanted to give while answering this question. So my request to that lady is, do the sadhana this week, Yoga Sankirtan. Just one round you go through the Nirvana Shatkam, the Sri Hari Dhyana and Mahashiva Dhyana with a special focus on this particular emotion of sorrow which you felt when you heard the phrase, "This is coming to an end, this is ending." And you will be very surprised. It will give you so much of understanding about yourself. You know how much we store within ourselves, how much of negative energy we store, and we are blissfully unaware. So the sadhana helps you to clean yourself up from the deepest core. Okay, so we'll go to the other questions now. This question has been asked by Ashok Kriplaniji. Hari Om Yogishri. We were asked not to keep pictures of our parents in God's room and pray to them, as that act disturbs the departed souls. Also, we were told that I am not the body. So after death, the soul has left the body and ascended. Also, the sense organs are no longer with the body. So when we pray to the picture of, say, my late father, I am actually praying to the physical body, not the soul or the senses. So how is the soul disturbed? Please clarify. Pranams, Ashok Kriplaniji. So this is an interesting question which Ashok ji has asked, where it was said that don't keep the photographs of people who have passed away, and especially don't light a lamp and all that. There is a scientific reason. When I say scientific, I mean the ancient science, So when a person dies, he or she leaves the physical body, the soul leaves the physical body. The astral body then, takes up another birth. But in between the death and birth, the astral body does go through a lot of experiences, different dimensional experiences. They called it technically the Pitruloka, which is a temporary abode, which the astral body, where an astral body stays, and different other lokas have also been mentioned. Now, I'm not getting into the full aspect of it because that's a very long and windy thing. But I'll give you the gist of it from a yogic perspective. So once the soul has left the body, that continues with its journey. Now, when a near and dear one passes away, your duty, just as when the person was alive, you did your duties towards the person, similarly, when the person passes away, you still have certain duties towards that soul. And one of the main duties is to help the soul continue in its journey, onward journey. See, when we look at a person as merely the body, then this principle is not applicable. But you are actually not this body, you are the soul, and you have taken up this body. You have a long journey. You've actually already traveled for many births, thousands and thousands, millions of births. You've taken up so many bodies, and then in this birth, it's one more body which you take up. You're in that journey, the Jivatma, the journey of the Jivatma, the individual soul. Until you reach the infinite, this journey will continue. So once you drop the body, it means now this body is no longer useful for that soul in the journey. Therefore, the Jivatma drops it and picks up another body. In the Bhagavad Gita, the 2nd chapter, which we are doing now, Lord Krishna gives a beautiful example. He says, just as when your clothes get worn out or when they don't fit you, you discard them and you pick up new clothes. So he compares that with your physical body. He says your body itself is like a dress which you're wearing. You are not this body. You are the indweller of this body. And when the time comes, you drop this off and then you move forward. But what happens is, every time an individual soul acquires a body and then he or she forms various relationships, various acquisitions, in the form of wealth, relationships, name, fame, so many things, all the experiences. When it goes through, what happens is it also gets attached to those experiences. Those are the impressions, the karmas. It gets attached to the various people, those emotions, the acquisitions, everything. So when suddenly, when the time comes and when the body is dropped, invariably the soul is unable to drop off all the attachments and proceed further. So there is a struggle there. That is why certain rituals were kept, certain mantras were chanted, though through to create certain vibrations to help the soul overcome the attachments and proceed further. Of course, the deeper method, the subtler method which yogis use is directly through the meditation. They help the departed souls to proceed further. Now, one of the things is that when you have a photograph of a person and when you light a lamp, actually you are invoking that soul. You have mentioned here that we are only worshipping the body, not the soul. That is not true. See, what are you associating your mind with? Is it merely the physical body or the person who was living in the physical body? Supposing you have a photograph of a person and you're looking at that photograph. Are you looking merely at the picture or are you thinking about the person when you are looking at the picture? If that person is not existing at all, either externally or in your mind, then that photograph has no meaning. So it is incorrect to say that when I worship a photograph, I am worshipping only the photo or only the physical body, not the soul. It is not true. Your thought is associated with that individual, not merely that picture. This is number one. Number two, you should understand that just because a person has died, it doesn't mean he or she has become godly now. The same soul which was existing with a body now exists without a physical body and then takes rebirth. It takes up another body. So just because a person has died, now immediately, it's not that the person has become godly now. The person still has the same vasanas. Vasanas means the seeds, the same attachments, all the impressions, everything is there. So whether a person has a physical body or whether a person does not have a physical body, from a yogic parlance, it's all one and the same. So this is something which you need to understand, because there is this wrong custom of keeping the photographs of departed souls in the puja room along with the symbols of God and then worshipping. So it is not that the soul has ascended to the infinite. If a soul ascends to the infinite, then that person is a realized soul, the person is an enlightened person. It is only great yogis who can who ascend. But otherwise, when we talk of ascension, again it is very relative. You can ascend to the next dimension. You always ascend to the next higher dimension. Ascension doesn't mean necessarily ascension to the infinite dimension. So depending upon what kind of sadhana that person did when he or she was alive, after his death, what happens is he ascends to the next, that dimension which the efforts of his sadhana, the fruits of his sadhana will take him to. And then his karmic records are opened up and he sees what are all the karmas, and accordingly the next birth is decided and he is reborn, he or she is reborn. So this concept itself is actually misplaced when we think that just because a person has dropped off his or her body, now all the vasanas have gone, all the impressions have gone, and they have become one with the infinite. We can wish that way. That way, why a person after dropping the body, I would say our wish is that everybody while living itself, he or she should become one with the infinite. That is our good emotion. So one of the best ways by which you can help the departed soul to continue in its journey is by not constantly invoking them and bringing them back, pulling them with your emotions. See, your emotions have tremendous power. Once a person drops the physical body, what happens is you connect to that soul only through emotions at the astral level. So when you generate powerful emotions toward that person, and especially when you have a physical symbol and when you generate the emotions, you're literally putting a block. So that is why our great yogis, siddhas and rishis, they suggested that once a person has gone, that person is gone. See, when the body itself has been cremated or buried, whatever your custom is, when the body itself has been discarded, it's an earth element which has been discarded. Now you should not create another symbol, another earth element and invoke. That is not good. So the yearly ceremonies, the rituals which were kept were not meant to merely invoke them. No way. Actually, these rituals were meant two way. That is, one is to help the soul to proceed further in the journey, and the other aspect is also to get over your attachments. There was it's a divine process. When you chant the mantras and all that, you create the vibrations to develop more detachment. So my request is, if you really want to do good to your ancestors and if you want to do good to yourself also, because it is not good to associate your emotions every now and then with something which is already ended. I'm not saying you should not love your the person who has passed away. No, that love is there always. I'm talking of the invoking, the triggering factor. So especially when you light a lamp, all those are very significant and symbolic. You're calling that person. So the person is gone. So it is, you should become detached. As I said, that lady who asked the question, everything has an end. Everything which has a beginning has an end. So in that process of life, we get so attached to the physical body. And then we are unable to, relate to the soul consciously. So follow this, because this is not our ancient tradition. Nowhere in the Vedas it is said that you should have a photograph. First of all, there were no photographs those days. And today, the funniest part is I find even the priests who perform the rituals, the death rituals, every year or even after the body has been cremated, they ask for the photograph and they keep the photograph of the person there, and then they do the rituals. Now, kindly desist from doing that. If any priest insists on that, say no, you do it without the photograph, because nowhere in the scriptures all these things are mentioned. So there is a deep science behind it. I'm only giving you an overall view, a gist. I know this topic is so deep that this can spring up many more questions. So many others may also ask. So in the course of time, as we do the verses of the Bhagavad Gita, whenever those the relevant topic comes, I will deal with the different aspects of what happens after death. When we did the second chapter, that portion, I did cover it quite elaborately, where what exactly happens after death and all that. Later on also, again, Krishna, many a times he'll be discussing about death, because just as birth is an aspect of life, death is also a very important aspect of life. And the more you're able to penetrate and understand death, the more spiritually you will get awakened. So kindly follow our ancient tradition, the true tradition. See, down the line, somebody starts something new, and then mechanically people just follow. Now, that is not our ancient tradition. Our original tradition is very meaningful, and there is always a purpose why they said, do this way, do this that way. Down the line, many people changed those practices. So this is a great opportunity. Once you understand the logic behind it, you should have the conviction and courage to drop the wrong habits and pick up the right practices. This is what will help you, and it will help the soul who has departed also. Okay? So now we'll go to the next question. This question has been asked by Harika from US. She has asked two questions. Hari Om sir. So I have a few questions. Number one, why should a girl leave her home after marriage, not a boy? Why does she need a lot of permissions to meet her parents after marriage? Why most of the girls' parents feel uncomfortable to stay in their daughter's home? Now, we'll take up the questions one by one. There is a second question also which is asked. See, first of all, why should a girl leave and go to a boy's house? Why not a boy leave? Now, first of all, who fixed these rules? What you're talking about is culture. See, what I'm giving is the ancient wisdom. In the ancient wisdom, it is neither said a girl should go to the boy's house, nor is it said that boy should go to the girl's house. The ancient wisdom deals with the principles of life. Now, whether after marriage a girl should go to the boy's house or vice versa, all these things are a part of that society's culture. So why means there is no particular reason. Some cultures are patriarchal, some cultures are matriarchal. Depending on how that culture developed, those kind of practices are followed. Now, if you ask me whether it is right or wrong, we can't say that, because even today, Like if you go to Kerala and Hyderabad, there are many parts of Kerala and Hyderabad and few other places, there are these matriarchal systems still existing, where after marriage the boy goes to the girl's place. Now, in that society, that is considered as right. So there is no absolute rights or wrongs in this. It is only one's convenience. Now you asked why does a girl require permissions to meet parents? Why does a girl's parents feel uncomfortable? All this came about because of ego. When some of the in-laws, they started treating the girl with a lot of ego. That is why these things happened. So in the ancient wisdom, we say ego is the main obstacle. So instead of asking why, now we should ask, how do we solve this? This is an issue. The solution to this is, if one learns the ancient wisdom, the true wisdom, our original ancient wisdom, he or she will drop off all the ego. Then instead of relating with a person with ego, he will start relating to everyone with a lot of unconditional love. So where there is unconditional love, these kind of artificial rules will not exist. A boy, a girl, that is a male and a female, are two halves of this world. You cannot say one is superior or one is inferior. It is a foolish ego which thinks. This is the very Shiva Shakti sadhana. The Ardhanarishwara, the half Shakti and half Shiva. What is that? What message is it giving? So when you asked why, there is no significance. This is just because of ego only. And the solution to that is dropping the ego. And only when you drop your ego, you will start seeing everyone equally. It is not only a question of humans. See, if you go to our ancient wisdom, they considered every creature as equals, equally important in this beautiful orchestra of life. That is why they treated all the animals with a lot of love, the plants with a lot of love. Even in the Tamil culture, there is a beautiful incident, where the king Pari, when he was going in his chariot, he found the creeper, the plant, the mullai, in Tamil, that was that didn't have a support. So what he did is he got out of the chariot and kept the chariot there and kept the plant on the chariot so that the chariot can support the plant, and he walked back. This incident is there. This is our culture. Respecting everyone, respecting every creature in this universe. This is called unconditional love. So it is because this ancient wisdom has got lost that these kind of foolish behavior happens. So my request to all the families, especially the family heads, is that when a new person comes into your life, please treat that person with a lot of respect. And similarly, my request to the other side also is that don't ever lose your self-respect based on how others treat you. You should learn to stand up for yourself. You should learn to give respect to yourself first, and also giving respect to others. Okay. And then the second question which she has asked is, I wanted to start my professional career and started preparing for one IT technology certification. I started liking this course, but many a times I am not able to concentrate fully while studying, and I got deviated to search some other career options that I am interested to do. How do I figure out in which field that I am fully interested in to choose a career? Now, as I said in the previous lectures also, when we were dealing with Dhananjaya, you should spot your unique talent and focus all your energies on that. So your career should be based on your swadharma. What are you good at? You naturally you will have a flair for a few things. You will be very good at that, a raw talent. So you need to identify them first. How will you identify them? I would suggest you take a piece of paper and just write down, right from early childhood till now, what all did you love doing, and what were your talent, what were you good at. You may have been good at drawing, you may have been good at something. All that you write down. Dedicate about half an hour or 1 hour for this and write down. And then set that paper away. After about a week, go through the same exercise again. Take another piece of paper, don't refer to the previous one. Again, go through the same exercise, right from early childhood. What are the things which interested me? What am I good at? Write down. So like this, you do about 3 times. 3 weeks you do this. And then after that, you take up all those 3 sheets and compare, make a comparison. You will find that each week you may have written, let us say, 10 things. Now all the 10 things will not be the same. There will be a lot of differences. But among those things which you have written down, certain things will be repeated. The first sheet, second sheet, and in the third sheet. Now mark all of them. Generally speaking, those things will be your swadharma. Something which you are consistently interested in, that becomes a part of your swadharma. So when you say that, yes, I applied for a computer job and then I lost interest, then you have to question. It means you are really not passionate about doing it. See, when you say I want to choose a career, I can clearly see that you are talking about earning money. You are not talking about choosing a career. See, choosing a career is different from earning money. Earning money is a byproduct of functioning in a career. But your primary focus when you are when you want to choose a career should be, what am I interested in? So especially youngsters, when they choose a career, when they go to 11th and 12th, or even after 12th, when they choose a field, the general trend which I find is they just go by what the popular thing is, what is the most popular one. Like, suddenly this data science came. If a person is genuinely interested in that, it's different. But many people get into that because they feel that if I do this, I can earn more money. Without finding out whether am I interested in that? Do I have a talent in that? Is that what I really want to do? So that is a very dangerous trend. So you may, it looks like you've also fallen into that trap. So instead of looking at options in the computer and all that, first do this exercise, 3 weeks, once a week you do that, and then compare those 3 sheets. You will get a fair idea of what you are really interested in. There was one lady, she wanted to work in the sense earn money. And same thing only, she tried some computer courses, she tried this, nothing. She was unable to sustain herself in anything. And then she asked me, I asked her to write down this. And when she wrote down, of all the things which she wrote, there was one thing which she did it 5 times. I told her 3 times, but she wanted to test it further. She did it for 5 weeks. In all the 5 weeks, one activity came out prominently which she was interested in, and that was cooking. Right from young age, is that I was so passionate about cooking. Unfortunately, what had happened was that due to the foolishness of the society, they had put thoughts in her that if you are a homemaker and if you cook, you are worthless. So she was trying to avoid that, and she was looking at other options. The moment she understood that, she said, from this moment onwards, I'm proud to cook. And then I asked her, what about earning money? She said, that's what I wanted to ask you, sir. I said, no problem. Be a homemaker, cook everything. And then also, if you want, you can start some food business. She started doing that, and she started, cooking food and supplying that to known people first who wanted to order homemade food. And that started growing, and then many people started asking whether she can provide food for parties and for some occasions and all. Since she started doing that, and today she's so busy. Incidentally, she's earning more money than even a computer wizard. So imagine if she had got locked up with some other field just because of that money factor, that would have made her life terrible, So these are the tips to find out your Swadharma, your nature. So do that, and do write to me if you have further questions on that. The next question is a personal question, so I am not mentioning the person's name. This lady has asked about her father. Her father is going through some issues like alcoholism and all that. I am not reading the full question because she has mentioned some incidents and all that. So he gets very angry, and he's addicted to alcohol. So she's asked, how can I help my father? Can I visualize for him? Can I do the sadhana for him? He does not want to change. That is something which is mentioned. So this is very, very important. As sadhaks, you need to understand that each one has to change from within. You cannot force a change in another person. You cannot do sadhana for another person. Just as you cannot eat for another person. Supposing, let's say, it may be your dear father or dear mother or dear wife or husband, anybody. Supposing that person says, I am not going to eat food. He doesn't eat properly. Will you ask, now shall I eat food for him? Will that solve his problem? It will not solve his problem. So you do sadhana to become balanced from within. So never ever visualize for others. That is wrong. You should, that is a choice which they have to make. So how you can help him? As a daughter, of course, you have duty towards your father. So how you can help him is, first of all, do your sadhana and become very balanced from within. Create a lot of positive energy from within. This is number one. Once you start creating tremendous positive energy, the spiritual energy from within, anything which you tell him will start having an effect on him. So instead of you going and advising, you should draw that person towards you to ask for advice. Not by sitting and waiting, when is he going to ask me for advice? that will not work. Do your sadhana and become a powerhouse of positive energy. After that, try to understand the psychology of the other person. For example, if your father is drinking alcohol, now there are some unresolved issues which he is having, certain experiences in his life. So he is trying to escape from all those experiences and he is taking recourse to alcohol. So indirectly, what you can do is, if you can locate those experiences and give him some solutions there, that will help. But even that requires a lot of penetration and clarity. The other way is indirectly see whether you can expose him to this ancient wisdom. You may, if you send it directly, supposing he will not accept, then indirectly you can just ask somebody to send a link to him, so that if he starts watching these Sunday discourses, and if he gets connected, if he becomes a sadhak, the change is bound to happen. So, but these things are not under your control. So what is under your control is generating tremendous positive energy and sending that unconditional love energy to him. And over a period of time, when you keep on sending the positive energy, you will find that that person becomes more amenable to reason. Whatever you tell him, since you will not be telling him with any ego or irritation. See, today when you get irritated about his behavior, and when you go and confront him, he's not going to accept. So when you take care of your reactions, and then with all the unconditional love, you may not say something, sometimes you may say, sometimes you may not say. It is not the methodology, but that energy will reach him and he will start becoming more positive towards you. When that happens, only then you can do something directly. Okay, so practice this, whatever I said, and see how it works. The next question is from Srinivas ji from US. So Manya Yogishri ji, Namaste. First of all, thanks for the very beneficial 10-day powerful healing and meditation sessions. Yeah, you're referring to the 10-day healing program which we had. After completing one cycle of the sessions, I am on the second cycle. The session on the power of prajna was especially appealing and helpful. Is it preferable to continue in a cyclic fashion from 1 to 10 and then start again from 1, or to stay with one session for some time and then move to the next session when one has a feeling that some assimilation has taken place? Is it permissible to practice a session which is appeal most for some time and then go to other sessions in the order based on the appeal? Each session has a particular time. So I would be most appreciative to hear your advice in this regard at your convenience. With regards, V. Srinivas. Yes, sir. So, see, first time when I took it, I had taken it in an order, so that was required. But after that, in case you want to change the order, it is perfectly fine. And if something really appeals to you and you feel like watching it for a few days and doing that meditation, yes, kindly, you can do that. No issues. Because I have structured those 10 days not in necessarily in a particular order. That order can be changed also. Whereas when it comes to something like the Yoga Sankirtan, especially within the Yoga Sankirtan, there is an order of those bhavas and avasthas, that is the tracks. That order, please don't change. Don't listen to the last track first and then the first track, and there you should not act according to your whims and fancies. So I am giving so many things. For each one thing will appeal. So you take up whatever appeals to you and do the sadhana on that. And if anybody wants to go through from 1 to 10 in that sequential order also, it is fine. that has its own benefit. There is a charm in that because it's a energy build up. So that will also help you. So choose according to whatever you feel comfortable, what helps you. Be free. As far as this 10-day program is concerned, in future if we have other programs, I will mention. See, if it has to be done in a particular order, I will definitely make a mention of it. Okay. Then the next question, again it's a personal question, so I'm not mentioning the name. I'm facing clinical depression and negative thoughts and overthinking problem which changed my peace of mind, and also insomnia problem. So can you help me overcome with this problem, sir? I would suggest that you start doing the Yoga Sankirtan Sadhana on a daily basis. Get hold of the three, the Nirvana Shatkam, Shri Haridhyana and Mahashivadhyana, and listen to that in that order, and then keep repeating the cycle. There have been many people who had psychological issues like depression, anxiety. There is one more person who was asked about anxiety also. So it's the same answer only. So do the Yoga Sankirtan Sadhana on a regular basis, that is daily basis. Then over, many people have said that within 1 to 3 months, they have come out of all the depression and anxieties and all that. When I say they have come out, it's not that now they've become realized souls or anything, but they have, that extra pressure which the mind puts when you succumb to these kind of emotions, that goes away very fast within a month or 3 months. That is what they have reported. But I would suggest each one's case will be unique. So don't even fix a time target like that. Start doing the sadhana, and you will find that over a period of time, your mind will start becoming very, very stable. If you're suffering from depression, your cheer will start increasing. If you're suffering from over anxiety, you will start becoming more calm. Whatever it is that your problem is, that will start getting dissolved. Okay. So through this question, I'm also answering many other people's question about anxiety, about various other psychological issues also which people have asked. Okay. Now we'll see the next question. There is one more lady who has asked. She says she's a healer, a Reiki healer, and she's got a lot of blocks in her chakras. So she has asked for healing. My request to all the healers is that, see, once you have come to this ancient wisdom, you should, it would be very beneficial for you to follow the sequence which our great masters have given. And what our masters have given is that don't focus on healing others. Instead, first focus on healing yourself. Do the sadhana. See, when you're having, let us say, $1 million, now your capacity to give to others will be restricted with that $1 million. Supposing you have only $1,000. If you give away $100 every day, after the 10th day, you will have nothing. Supposing you have billions of dollars, now you give away a few $1 million every now and then. That will not really sap your energy. So the first thing is, now that you have come to the ancient wisdom, which is the highest form of healing, this is the parent. From this only all other forms of healing came. So you practice the Yoga Sankirtan Sadhana and first purify yourself. First build a lot of spiritual powers within you. And then healing others we'll see later. Many people have also put forward the question, Yogishri, can you teach, can you conduct healing courses, how to heal others? I'm not taking that right now, because there is always that inherent danger. When you go and interfere with somebody else's karma, there's a very thin dividing line between helping, healing, and interfering in another person's karma. Then when you go and do that, you may acquire those karmas a bit also. So you need to be very careful in that. So that is why all the great masters, they never advocated healing others straight away. So first grow spiritually. So my request to the person who was asked this is, stop healing others for a while, because you're saying this chakra is blocked, that is blocked. You see you're having some issues. So do the Yoga Sankirtan sadhana and first purify yourself. And as and when the time comes, we'll see. Even that healing signs also I will further reveal. But right now the focus is on self-healing. Okay. The next question which has been asked is by Sneha Naresh. She's asked a very nice question. Greetings, sir. You have mentioned the importance of humility in our work, which can be expressed by dedicating our experiences, that is success, failure, skill, etc., to God, the infinite energy. Now, instead of giving ourselves the credit, you've also mentioned hard work as an irreplaceable quality in everything we do. So my question is, when we attribute something else, that is here the higher form, to the quality of work we produce, are we not handing over the control we have in our lives as well? When we do not take responsibility for our actions, good or bad, would it not result in laziness or blaming others for the failure? Thank you for your time. Yes, it's a very intelligent question which she has asked. So when I was mentioning about humility, when we were talking about Dhananjaya and Devadatta, I think she's referring to that. So I did mention that put in all the efforts, acquire wealth, acquire everything which you want in life, but then consider all that is God-given. Develop that humility. Whether you get success or failure, attribute it to the Supreme. Now, this question is based on that only. See, if you take this ancient wisdom, you will always find the apparent contradictions. But actually there is no contradiction if you understand it fully. With respect to ego and surrender, there is a perennial contradiction which people see when they hear these statements or when they read it. That is, on one hand, the law of karma is given and they say you are only responsible for your success and failures. No God or no other force is responsible. You create your life, you make your life, or you mar your life. It's all up to you. On the other hand, it is also said God is responsible for everything. So attribute everything to God. So if you understand the deeper meaning of both, then only you will get an answer to this question. So first of all, I'm giving it to you in a nutshell when the topic comes, because anyway these things will be covered in the verses in the Bhagavad Gita every now and then. So at that time more explanations also will be given, but I'll give you the basics. Law of karma states that every action has a reaction, a consequence. So when you perform an action, whether it's a speech level or action level or emotion level or thought level, whatever it is that we do, that has a consequence in our life. So when we generate good actions, when we do good actions, it has certain good consequences. When you behave negatively, that has negative consequences. This is the law of karma. So whether we get success or failure in life, who is responsible? That person only. God is neutral. God is that supreme power. God can be compared to the sun. The sun gives light and heat to everyone equally. But under sunlight, a person can do a very noble activity, like he may do charity, or another person may be a pickpocket. He may steal another person's money and go away. If the sunlight was not there, both of them wouldn't have been able to do their respective activities. One was a good activity, other was a bad activity. But the sun is not responsible either for the good actions which this person did or for the negative action which the other person did. The sun is neutral. It gives the energy to everyone. So how you use that energy, that is similarly, the infinite is always giving that Shakti. Now how you use that in your life is your choice. The choice of action is given to a human being. So when you use the choice of action to do positive things in life, you will get positive results. And when you use it to do negative things, you will get negative results in life. This is the law of karma. Now, where does surrender come in? Now when you understand the law of karma and you decide, okay, now let me do the positive things and acquire various, whatever it is that I want, you acquire success in every field. Slowly, your ego will get boosted and you will start getting disconnected from your infinite nature. So as an antidote to ego, what they suggested is, having put in all the efforts and acquired things in life, now surrender all those results to the higher. Because ultimately, if you think about it, if the sun was not there, both these people wouldn't have been able to act. Similarly, if that supreme infinite being was not there, then we will not get the basic energy to function. Therefore, recognize that and you bow down. Surrender all your efforts to God. So surrender all your efforts to God means surrender your ego to God. Sorry, don't surrender your efforts. Surrender your ego to God. So when they talked of surrendering, they immediately, how people took it as, that's what you're asking, if I surrender, then won't I become lazy? They are not asking you to surrender your efforts. See, even in that Dhananjaya and Devadatta, when we're talking about Arjuna, first comes Dhananjaya, which is you acquire wealth by your own efforts. Then comes Devadatta. It goes side by side actually. Having acquired, having put in all the efforts, now don't develop an ego over it. Then you will devolve spiritually. You will also lose that very capacity. The talent also will go away from you when you become too egoistic, So the combination of efforts and surrender is true spirituality. Only effort means you will develop ego. Only surrender means you will become lazy in life. Combine these two. That is the most effective way of functioning. So just don't sit and say, oh, I surrender to you, God. No, you do everything. Nothing will happen. You will have to eat your food. Then that supreme power will digest it for you. So you do your part and leave the rest to that supreme power. So once you understand this in the in a complete way, there is actually no confusion at all. we'll go to the next question. The next question is a very personal question again. This has been asked by a young girl, and I'm not mentioning the name for obvious reasons. What she has basically, it's a very long mail she has sent. What she has basically said is that she has had many negative experiences with her parents. Right from young age, the parents have shouted at her, abused. So many things have happened. And so she was saying, she's saying that once she started doing the Yoga Sankirtan Sadhana, all those memories are coming back, are coming out, whatever happened right from young age. So her point is, when I try to forgive my parents, there is a big block, because just by my forgiving, are they going to change? These are the points which she has asked toward the end. She says, deep down I really want to forgive them, which is a very good thing. I want my family. You always tell us to be grateful to our parents, sir, but I'm not really able to be grateful even if I put in the best of my efforts. And even if I do forgive them, again, what is a guarantee that they will not repeat their behavior? Very, very good question, because they are toxic, negative, discouraging, and have unresolved issues. So so she has asked, so what do I do, Now, the first thing which I want to mention this girl is, it was so wonderful reading your mail. There is one thing which I observed when you had written the various incidents which had happened. You had written it in a humorous way, even though they were negative incidents. You had put it with a tinge of humor. That is something which I want to appreciate first, because unconsciously you started absorbing the ancient wisdom by doing the sadhana and attending the Sunday discourses, obviously. I want to read out that portion, especially one portion, which will be very helpful to others also, the approach, So what she has written is, my parents' marriage is a disaster. The best part is they comfortably deny it. They claim that their marriage is built on foundations of trust, loyalty, honesty, tomatoes and brinjals. They are always at each other's throats, fighting, screaming, throwing things and blaming the children for their fights. This is only an example. So throughout, when she has mentioned the various incidents, she has put it in a very humorous way. I don't know what you're doing in college, but I think you have this aptitude for humor. Probably you could try your stint in writing comedy. So this is a very important principle which you have absorbed, and I want this to give as an example. I want to give this example. This is an example to even others. See, when we are facing a lot of issues, instead of looking at those issues in a very serious way, adopt this, a fun way. That is, I understand the problems are quite serious and they are affecting you. But side by side, learn to become a little more detached and start developing that humor sense within you. That will really go a long way in maintaining your balance and increasing your ability to solve those issues. This is number one. The second thing is regarding the actual issue of your parents. See, I fully understand, when you have had certain negative incidents with respect to certain people, it becomes very difficult to forgive. So that is why what is suggested is, don't try to forgive straight away. First, you do the Yoga Sankirtan Sadhana. I don't know whether you attended the empowerment session. If you had attended, I had given the various tips, in that. If you have not attended, no issue. Next time when empowerment comes, do attend these advanced courses, because that is where I give the finer tips and make you do the deeper sadhana, Many people who had issues which they were unable to resolve for 20 years, 30 years, just in those sessions, they were able to resolve that. That is advantage. But that apart, what you need to do is, when you're doing the Yoga Sankirtan Sadhana, allow these, all the memories of these incidents, the negative incidents, how they shouted at you, this, so whatever be the nature of the negative incidents which you mentioned, let them all come out. And you keep your eyes closed and keep doing the deep breathing. Let the Yoga Sankirtan be played. That's going to give you that positive vibration. And when you go on breathing through these incidents, what will happen is they will get released from your system. Once those impressions get released from your system, only then you will be in a position to forgive the other person. So when I said forgive, I don't mean to say that forgive 100% this moment itself. There are limitations to that. So it is a process. Forgiving itself is a process. It is a sadhana which happens gradually depending upon the intensity of the issue which you have with the other person. So first do this Yoga Sankirtan Sadhana, let's say next few weeks, and release all these impressions. How do you release? Do the deep breathing with surrender. Let all those incidents come. Don't try to suppress those incidents, the memories. Don't look for those memories. Whatever it is that comes out, just go on breathing. If you feel like crying, cry. Allow the tears to come. Whatever it is you feel like expressing. But important thing is, with awareness, do the deep breathing. Over a period of time, instead of storing all the memories and impressions of those incidents in your system, you will start releasing them. Once you release them from your system, you will feel very light. To the extent you are successful in doing that, to that extent when you sit and say, I forgive my parents, you will be able to forgive them. So practice this for a few weeks, and then if you have further questions, you do write to me, and also tell me what happens, whether you've been able to practice this successfully or not. The second thing is, the reason for forgiving others is not to change others, because you asked, even if I forgive, won't they repeat the same mistakes? That is their karmas, their behavior, what they are creating. The idea of asking you to forgive somebody and not keep the hatred and anger is for your own good. See, whenever we get angry, whenever we get irritated, whenever we have hatred, any negative emotion, here I am not talking of moral negativity. I am talking of something which is harmful to you. That emotion is actually not good for you. That is destroying your health. That will destroy your peace of mind. So why should you lose your peace of mind because of others' behavior? So as an antidote to those issues which you have with others, which actually ruin your peace of mind, these great masters suggested, forgive them through sadhana. Not merely verbally saying, I forgive them, that is not enough. Through the sadhana only, which I had explained now, you can forgive. And when you forgive the other person, you become free, which is most important. Your happiness is in your hands. And when you become free, your ability to handle them will also become more. You will gain a lot of strength in your life. The that person would ask the question, if I surrender to God, am I losing control over my life? No. When you surrender to God, when you surrender your ego to God, you actually gain more power and control in your life. Similarly, when you release all these negative impressions, your ability to handle the other person increases. If the other person shouts, just imagine this state. Supposing you don't get affected at all, you don't get hurt, you don't get angry, but in a calm way, you just look at that person, and whatever it is, whatever way you need to handle depends upon the psychology of the other person. But if you are able to do that, what a wonderful state that will be. Isn't that the ideal way of going about it? But today you will not be able to do that because of these impressions which have been stored within you. So first go through that process, and then you see the external situation also will change. Their behavior towards you will change because you will become so confident. You will become a master of your circumstances. So the energy which you generate will have to change their behavior towards you. But their behavior towards each other, your control is again limited. But the capacity, as your capacity increases only, you will be able to solve these issues. So first do the sadhana for a few weeks and then get back. We'll then see. I'll give more tips also as and when it's required. But if I give you those now, you will not be in a position to practice. Just as if I tell you forgive, you will not be able to forgive. So first, resolve the unresolved issues within you, not with the other person externally. First within you, because one is the other person externally. The other is you're holding that person's energy within you, which have caused impressions within you. You're carrying them in your mind, the deeper layers of your mind. So that has to be released first. So remember one thing, the parents may not be perfect, but their intentions, will never be that I want to destroy my child. I've never seen such a case. I don't know, this is Kali Yuga. Probably that may also be possible. I really don't know. But generally speaking, parents only have love. They may not know how to express it. They may not have been exposed to this ancient wisdom. So when you begin to understand that they themselves have their own faults and unresolved issues which they are suffering from. They are a prey to they are victims of their own negativities. Then that gives you more maturity. And then when you do your personal sadhana and release all the impressions, you will be able to easily forgive and generate the love. Okay? So today I have answered many questions. There are many more questions. Again, I thought I will be able to cover most of them, but I've only covered around 50%. So we'll see. As and when the sessions go, I'll be giving the answers during the Sunday discourses themselves. And whenever it's required, I'll take up one question separately also and handle. But mainly today I wanted to take up these important questions. If the questions which I have taken up today are not merely those individuals' questions, but the points which I have given will be very useful for everyone. See, remember one thing, as a sadhak, if you want to become a yogi, one of the principles is whenever somebody else asks a question, you should listen to that fully and also to the answer and absorb the answer. That is how we learn. There is a saying, a thinker said, fools learn from their own experiences. Wise learn from others' experiences. So when someone is giving his or her experience, immediately your learning antenna should shoot up. You should learn something from it. Okay, so now we'll have meditation and healing. I'll be invoking the healing energy. So gently close your eyes. Do deep breathing. With every breath, I am going deeper and deeper into myself. Beyond this physical body, beyond these various emotions and thoughts, lies that infinite supreme reality. I am getting connected to that infinite power within me. I am not this body. I am not these various emotions. I am not these various thoughts. I am one with that supreme power, that infinite being. The source of my strength is that infinite, supreme reality within me. I derive all my strength, all my power from that supreme divinity. Whatever be the challenge which I am facing today in my life, I have the capacity to resolve and come out victorious. As the supreme energy is being invoked, feel that the energy is penetrating into each and every aspect of your personality. I am Swayam Prakashit, self-illuminating. Offer your gratitude to God Supreme. Offer your gratitude to your Guru and all the holy masters. Slowly come back, wriggle your fingers, your toes, open and close your palms a few times. Rub your palms together to create a warmth. Cup your eyes with your palms. Gently rub your eyes, your cheeks, forehead, top of the head, back of the head and neck. And very, very slowly open your eyes. Welcome back. So today I had invoked a lot of healing energy, Shakti, and also, having finished a powerful series like the Inner Strength series, it is always advisable to have a session like this, a more informal, casual session, question answer, and then it is advisable to take some healing so that you get established in those principles which I have been giving for the last few weeks. Many people have sent messages that many of their issues are getting resolved on their own. Remember, it is not that they are happening on their own. You have been absorbing this energy, this wisdom every Sunday, and you've been doing your sadhana. So when you do that, when you receive the healing, what happens is, and when you do the sadhana, you start burning up your karmic blocks, your karmas get burnt up. And when those blocks get burnt up, automatically you will find your issues in life also getting resolved. So it was so wonderful to read many of your experiences. Some people had said that some health issues were there which have gone. Some people have said some financial issues were there. One person, he was not getting a job for many months, and in spite of the COVID situation, lockdown and all that, now he has got a very good job. So that itself shows that if you don't get bogged down by these external challenges, instead if you focus on your inner sadhana, things are bound to change. Again, one is doing your personal sadhana, the other is also karma yoga. That is, in that field, you will have to put in efforts. For example, if you want a job, you have to apply for jobs. See, because some people understand this in a funny way, and they just think that I will just close my eyes, do my yoga sankirtan sadhana. Now people will come and give me jobs. It's not like that. So you put in that required efforts. So this healing, the Sunday sessions, wisdom, and whatever the healing meditation, through the meditation, the healing which you're receiving, and then your personal sadhana, all these put together will remove those karmic blocks which are not allowing you to achieve those positive results. So once those blocks are removed, your efforts will start fructifying faster. That is the whole idea. Okay? So next week, from next week onwards, we'll be restarting the usual Bhagavad Gita discourses. We were doing chapter 2, the Sthita Prajna portion, somewhere in the middle. So what I'll do is next week I'll be giving a summary of whatever we had done just to get the continuity, and then we will proceed with the verses. The advantage of those regular sessions are that since we are not keeping it time bound, so what happens is I'm also able to use the yogic approach to penetrate into the verses as much as possible so that you all can benefit maximum. The moment it is time bound, we have to finish this within this date. Then what happens is we'll have to compromise with the depth. So that's a great opportunity which you have with regard to these weekly sessions. So we'll be continuing with that. There have been several other requests also. People have asked me whether I can record some small sessions, that is 10 minutes or 15 minutes kind of sessions, nuggets, few points. Now that this online thing has started, we'll definitely work on that, because what happens is, see, if you attend the weekly sessions, that itself will give you the whole wisdom. But these weekly sessions are meant for serious sadhaks only. So many people have started watching this now. That itself is a big miracle as far as I'm concerned, because this yogic approach is so subtle, so deep, and where there is quality, the quantity may not be there. But I'm so happy that worldwide, so many serious sadhaks are there who are tuning in every week and who are getting benefited. But then what people are now telling me is that for those people, for others who have not yet become sadhaks, if we want to introduce this to them, it will be very useful if we have these short video clips, and that will, if we just send them, and if they get inspired, they can immediately, there's a better chance of them doing the sadhana, so that their lives will be better. So that's a request which many people have put forth to me. So since your intention is also pure, I will definitely give it a thought. We'll soon see how to come out with those short videos. We'll see that. Okay. So thank you very much. I'll see you next week, same time. Thank you.